trying to accomplish. But it's about integrating these tools and saying, this is a different way to do it, this is more that we can do, this is additional things that we can do if we want to try to reach this audience or that audience, or if we want to do it on a more timely basis versus on a more static basis. On the risk side of it, I'm me, myself, and I. Okay, I have a small consulting firm, but really I'm a little bit different in that I consult so that I can write. I don't write so that I consult. So a lot of people think, oh, you're writing so you can get more consulting business. It's the opposite for me. I want to write, speak, and teach, and so I consult so that I can afford to do that. If you're trying to generate business and do, what you're doing for the benefit of your firm, certainly there's risks. You can say the wrong thing, you can do the wrong thing, you can have a website that you tell everybody is there and is super great, and then it breaks down and it's not there. Just like a Twitter account or anything else where you say, I'm there, I'm doing it, I have a new blog post, and then nobody can get to it. I mean, those are all risks, and those are the risks that you take as soon as you put yourself out there and you start telling other people what you're doing. But I'm glad that I started doing Twitter in particular more than a year ago because someone encouraged me, and again, my reaction was, geez, how am I ever going to find time? I'm writing a blog post every day. I'm pretty tapped out. I have nobody to help me. I have no editor. How am I going to find, time for another micro-blogging tool? That's what Twitter was represented as, a micro-blogging tool. How am I going to find time for this? Well, it evolved. I'm glad now because there was a joke going around on Twitter the other day, again, as a result of this conference in New York. You can be a Twitter person that's either BO or AO, meaning before Oprah or after Oprah. So everybody who got in and started doing things before Oprah feels like they're some kind of veteran Twitter person or whatever. And everybody who's post-Oprah, sort of like the people that are just letting this carry on. Don't take that seriously. But the idea is that it's never too late to get in. And, just because you weren't there before, and then it's going to change. And it's just about getting started. And managing the risk as best that you can, and managing the time and budget as best you can, again, based on your objectives. I manage my risk based on my own personal filter, but also on the reactions of other people when they say, I think it's time for you to go to sleep. You're getting a little loopy, all that stuff. Okay, time to go to sleep. That's how I manage the risk, that I don't get too personal, that I don't, again, follow the tendency of some others to joke about things that may then come back to haunt. The thing about blogs, Twitter, or any of this other stuff is, it's out there. And there's so many people, I can't believe still, that don't realize that everything that you Twitter ends up as a URL and is Google searchable.
And I would also argue that there is a risk, a certain amount of risk in doing any of this stuff. But I would argue that there may be even more of a risk in not doing it. The way that we communicate and collaborate and connect with people, it's evolving today. And the stuff we're doing now is not the way it's going to be. It's not the way we used to do it. It's certainly not going to be the way we do it a year, 2 years, 5 years from now. This stuff is going to continue to evolve. And if we don't figure this stuff out now, it'll just put us further behind the 8 ball when it evolves into the next big thing.
Yeah, and I would just follow that point by saying, I think the most important thing you can do if you do want to set up some sort of a social media presence and provide content is to just set user expectations up front. If you know you're not going to be able to post a new blog post every day or 3 blog posts a week, say right on the home page of your blog that you're going to do 1 update a week and try to stick to that. Build a personal editorial calendar to help you manage that process. Have a couple posts in the works all the time. And I agree with Bill that there's a huge risk of not being there simply because more and more people are, as Matt Goddard from R2I talked about yesterday, they're turning to these online tools when they're making their purchasing decisions. And it's from everything from a new cell phone to a $100,000 software package. So get on these tools and be a part of the conversation because if you're not, a competitor will be there. And bad press. I would just say that if your user uses these tools, the chances that they post something negative about a bad experience with your company exist regardless of whether or not you're using those tools. So that's just something else to keep in mind. If you're using the tools, at least you can monitor your presence.
And jump even further on that, first of all, let me throw this out. How many people out there have Facebook accounts? How many of you are on Twitter? Okay, so here's the thing. For any of you who are or aren't, regardless, I don't know if you know this, but guess what? Your employees, especially younger ones, are probably on Facebook and are on Twitter. And they could be saying things about your firm. And your clients could be on Twitter and Facebook and saying things about your firm. So isn't it better to be on there too and to be able to respond if people are saying things about them? I know a lot of vendors that are out there that are really great ones. They're able to really track what people are saying about them and to defend themselves or to offer great tips and suggestions so they position themselves in a better way. It's not necessarily to gain more clients, but it's to have a better relationship. That's what it is. It's about building relationships and to prove that you're useful and that you care, especially if you just do taxes, you care beyond the one time that they're coming in. If you want to talk about the local community, whatever that might be. And I would highly suggest, especially if you have the younger employees, to ask them if they're on it. And maybe even what I find is awesome that some firms are doing is creating their own groups on Facebook. That is a group for the accounting firm where they can share ideas and network. And one of the coolest things, and I mentioned this in a previous session, but one of the coolest things that I'm seeing are the really successful accounting firms out there that are making pages and showing that they're hip to this technology, and people that are still in college are becoming fans, meaning I think this is really cool, of these accounting firms groups. And it's like, wow, you already proved to them that you're a company that this person might want to work for in the future. And then they start to tell their friends about it, and you can actually start this recruiting campaign without even leaving the office. You might come across some great candidates that